Double team by Tucker. Throws it up and in. Oh, Malik Monk with the floater.
Oh, don't mind me, Laker fam. I'm just getting my monk on. Speaking of Malik Monk, man, what a sensational game for him tonight. 27 points, I believe, to help lead the Lakers rather to a W against the Miami Heat, 120-117. Man, was sensational at scoring the rock in the clutch versus the Miami Heat. The Lakers defense was solid, but the Lakers couldn't win this game without Malik Monk. They overcame a 9-point deficit or so in a close one. Once again, 120-117. It was an ugly game to start. Both teams were missing a lot of shots in the beginning. But the Lakers defense came through in the clutch, and Malik Monk, got the crowd behind the game. The Lakers fed into the energy from the crowd, and then Russell Westbrook started to do his thing down the stretch. But props to Malik Monk, man. The game ball goes to him. So let's get into the game recap, Laker fam. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into the game recap. So the first quarter, man, the Lakers were getting open looks, but, they were missing a lot of shots. Same thing with the Miami Heat. Heat and Lakers played, solid defense to start this game as both teams missed a lot of shots. Some contested shots, some open shots, things of that nature. I didn't expect this game to be a high-scoring game. Later down the stretch, of course, it went into OT. I was expecting it to be around maybe the 90s or so, being that, the Miami Heat and the Lakers are two good defensive teams, tough, rugged, that type of thing. They're not extremely offensively potent, so I didn't expect a high-scoring game. But, I thought Davis to start was posting way too high, a result of him going 3 for 8 to start, against guys like Tucker, Butler, in the beginning, and then later down the stretch, Kyle Lowry was switched onto him a lot, and it's quite ridiculous, man. They know how to lose their lower bodies to push AD out of the post, so AD has to get deeper positioning and repost. He could, for example, gets the ball at the elbows, swings it to the wing on the left corner, right corner, wherever he's at, and then gain positioning to get closer to the basket, so they can get a higher percentage shot as opposed to working and dribbling into a post position. Never do that shit. That is unacceptable as a big man, especially when you have a 6'3" guy on you. That's fucking ridiculous, man. That upsets me about when AD does that type of shit. He needs to learn how to gain better positioning, relocation. He doesn't have any concept of it. So he has to get with Hakeem, get with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, get with Kevin McHale. Hell, watch some footage if you can't get with him, because this brother needs to learn how to post up better instead of working harder to post up. He's way too talented, way too skilled to be working so hard offensively. Russ, his offensive rebounds and Lopez got AD going, as he had buckets close to the basket, which gave AD that momentum offensively earlier on to start, because he was just not playing as well, taking fadeaway contested shots rather. That's what he does almost every game, man. He has to learn how to not settle offensively so that he can dominate. Because tonight he should have 40 points, in my opinion, especially when Lowry was switched onto him. But, Bradley down the stretch went 3 for 3, helping the Lakers offensively get a groove in the first quarter. The Lakers went up into the quarter number 2, rather, I believe 28-25 or so. But I like the lineup of AD, Melo at the 4, Bradley, Ellington, and Monk. I think that's a very potent offensive lineup to kind of finish, or even within the clutch moments. We'll see how it goes, but of course, when Reeves comes back, I would like him to also finish with the guys. It's one of the best potent offensive lineups, plus defense, a little bit of defense. So AD, I believe, had 11 points, 5 rebounds to start this game. Like I said, Russ kind of got him going as he was struggling in the beginning of the game, getting him dunks off a pick and roll, going towards the rim, things of that nature. He was kind of getting him, plus his offensive rebound. Kind of helped AD get that momentum that he needed. Once again, man, he needs to learn how to play inside out as opposed to playing outside in. That doesn't work for AD. When you're shooting low 40%, you can't depend on your jump shot as a big man. He should be shooting close to 50% or over 50% as a big man. But, it is what it is. He started to play bigger, down the stretch in the first quarter. And then, of course, he ended the game, I believe, with 13 rebounds. But he played with more confidence. And that's why he played at when he was playing at the 5 position, when he got switched over to the 5 position, he was dominating. It's clear that AD needs to play at the 5, man. If DJ's not giving us anything, he's not giving us any production consistently, and he hasn't amounted to shit yet, and you're not going to start Dwight Howard, then you have to start AD at the 5. There's not true bruisers in his league, Laker fan. There's not true bruisers, so I don't get the reluctancy behind AD not playing the 5 position at all. Howard's activity really helped the Lakers later on in this game. You know, he was able to cause havoc down low on the offensive boards, crashing the glass, really putting pressure on the Miami Heat bigs. You know, he got Bam, Haslam, Dwayne Dedmon, all in foul trouble in the second quarter. I believe they had 2 to 3 fouls, which helped the Lakers down the stretch, being that they didn't have Butler anymore due to an ankle sprain. So he was out for the game. And, you know, the only scorer who was consistent, other than Tyler Hero, was Bam Adebayo. So him fouling out in OT really helped the Lakers. And that was because of Dwight Howard's activity earlier on in this game. So shout out to Dwight Howard for putting work on the offensive boards. But Lakers had 12 to 13 turnovers. You know, he started to aggressively double AD in the post, and he didn't respond well to it. Then after Lakers being up 7 or 8 or so, Tyler Hero caught fire, man. You know, I got to say, Tyler Hero, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him, because by dumping the Insta thought that he was with, you know, it helped them focus. I don't understand why these cats, you know, do the shit that they do. I don't recommend, you know, meeting a girl. And to kind of get off topic, I'm digressing, but this is important for young brothers and people in general, man, dudes in general. You know, they shouldn't be getting thoughts pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to be loyal. That's why they Insta thoughts. And Tyler Hero made a mistake by getting an Insta thought pregnant. Now she's going to, you know, rake him over the coals, man, for 18 years. He's going to have to be paying child support. I'm just being real, man. But, you know, when he got with her, he wasn't focused on this game. He was a shell of himself. Now that he moved aside from her, he kicked her to the curve. He was able to focus now. He came back rejuvenated this season, so it's good to see Tyler Hero balling. Sometimes you got to get things out of the way and unnecessary baggage, and that's what she was, man. So all due respect, you know, if you're a thought, you showing yourself on the internet and stuff like that, and not showing yourself to your man, preserving yourself for your man, that's the issue to me. That's just my perspective. It's his business, but it's a good thing that, you know, he's moving on now. I wouldn't recommend any brothers out there, young cats, man, you know, dudes dating or whatever. I wouldn't recommend you marry your girl, or, you know, that you get with or whatever, probably 5 years or after, and especially after you live with her, you know her in and out, things of that nature. You know that she's a ride or die chick. She's wifey material. A thought is not wifey material. Let's keep it 100. So you don't impregnate them, man. You protect your seed, period. And that's just my perspective on it. You know, don't be, you know, getting too young or being too young and getting chicks pregnant, especially thoughts. Take your time, man, to develop yourself as a human being, as a man, and probably have kids at 30. That's just my perspective, because you know yourself better. And so, you know, you're doing things young and living in the fast lane, you're going to make mistakes that could probably cost you for a long time. And getting the thought pregnant is one of them, period. So I'm digressing, but that's just my perspective. I wanted to shed light on that. But, you know, it's good to see him that he's back to himself. So he finished with 15 points in the first half, you know, for the Heat. You know, he lost Butler to an ankle sprain, like I said, and it was reported that he was out of the game. So that kind of helped Lakers as well down the stretch. You know, it's a damn shame. Jimmy Butler's going to bring competition. He always does. So get well, Jimmy. So it's a damn shame. I would rather beat the Heat with him, but, you know, LeBron's out, so it is what it is. Tit for tat, I guess. But, you know, he go up into the third quarter, 57-55. You know, AD had to do a better job, man, with relocation once again. You know, his problem is he stays in one place, making it easier for the defense to defend him. He needs to give the ball back to guards or whoever's on the wing and relocate and get better positioning in the post, as opposed to just staying in one spot, allowing the defense to load up on him. Never be dribbling into post positioning, man, especially versus a 6'3" point guard and Lowry, bro, man. You 6'10", you way up here, he way down here. Like, I don't get that. Knock it off. Knock it off, bro. But, you know, that's the bullshit right there by AD, man. But Malik Monk and Wayne Ellington off the bench gave Lakers a boost, you know, going 7 for 9 from the field. You know, good to see them get into their groove, as the Lakers are, you know, short. They're short rotation wise. They're short with players, key players out, things of that nature. So it's good to see those guys, especially shooters, get an offensive groove this game versus the Miami Heat, a good defensive team. Bam Adebayo, man, third quarter, he erupted with 14 points for the Miami Heat. The Heat featured him in pick and roll, you know, just put the ball in his hands to make plays, and he did a good job for the Miami Heat. Kept him in this game. Not just Tyler Hero, but I thought his confidence is shifting. He was afraid to shoot the ball last year. And now he's coming in rejuvenated, playing pretty well for them, doing the things that he needs to do. And that starts up here, man, for a lot of players, because that's all it takes to make players, from good players to great players is the mindset. And so Lakers played right into, their hands, posting up AD way too high, turning over the ball, things of that nature, and, playing too much one-on-one. The Lakers were force-feeding AD in the post, and he doubled him and forced him into bad, low percentage shots, fadeaways, things of that nature. Once again, AD has to get closer to the cup, start jumping into the body, going up chest to chest, baby hooks, etc., not fading away. He's not a good enough shooter to do that shit. But the Lakers had no good offensive cohesion. But fortunately, Malik Monk was able to, keep them in the game with his shooting. And then later down the stretch, Russ, hit a bank shot, 3-point shot to end the third quarter. And the Lakers were down by 3, I believe, 85-82 or so. Russ has to learn how to, think before doing things, not jumping up in the air, passing the ball, man, because he has nowhere to go. So, I mean, that's kindergarten shit. Don't be passing the ball in midair, especially when the defense knows what you want to do is drive and kick. Get to the mid-range, brother, or a little floater, something like that, because that's always going to be there for Russell Westbrook. He just has to play controlled as opposed to being single-minded. He has to think things through and not just be one-tracked, because they already know what he wants to do. So he has to make the defense adjust by, taking what they're giving him, and that would be the mid-range and the floater, and he has that every single fucking game. So that's what Westbrook has to do. That's his issue with turnovers, is he's playing, already with the same concept. He's not adjusting to the defense. He's not adjusting, and that's the result of a lot of his turnovers, Laker fam. But he's averaging close to 5 or 6 turnovers a game, and that's the reason why. But Lakers had 16 turnovers, way too much to get a rhythm, and that's why they were down 3 going into the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, Lakers got into foul trouble. They were already at the limit, so the Heat were able to shoot free throws, man, every time they got fouled by the 8-minute mark or so. Their defense was atrocious, Laker fam. They were over-rotating for no reason, switching way too much for no reason at all. Lakers were frustrated with the calls Heat were getting, and Tyler Hero continued to cook off the bench for the Heat, as their highest lead, I believe, was 11 or so. But Lakers defense changed in the clutch, going on a run behind Malik Monk and overcoming a 9-point deficit in the fourth quarter. Russ had 10 points in the fourth quarter to help the Lakers take it into OT, but Russ, settled for the last shot in the fourth quarter to win this game. He had Tucker on the switch. He should have turned the corner. That's what the Lakers were looking for, that guard-to-guard screen to get Tucker to switch. They got the switch, but Russell, he didn't turn the corner on him. He should have got to the mid-range or hit a floater or took it to the cup. If he missed, but he settled for 3-point shots, which he's shooting about 27% from 3-point land. So you got to play to your strengths, and he didn't do that. So I thought he settled, and that's what a lot of the players in the Lakers are doing, our key players, particularly Russell Westbrook and AD. They got to stop settling, man. Russell Westbrook and OT did a good job staying attached to Tyler Hero, fighting over picks, making it tough for Tyler Hero offensively. Malik Monk game ball goes to him. He kept the Lakers in the game from the third quarter all the way on to OT, man. Was a bucket tonight. Just was a bucket tonight. Was sensational in the clutch, and in clutch moments overall in this game. And then Russell Westbrook playing controlled in the fourth quarter down the stretch, man. Did a pretty good job getting to the mid-range, attacking the cup, man. That's what Russell Westbrook has to do. He has to take what the defense gives him. I would rather him do that and miss from the mid-range and layups as opposed to jacking up threes, man. But the Lakers' energy shifted behind Malik Monk and Russ in the fourth quarter, and then behind Malik Monk and OT. And then Bam fouling out, man, really changed things, changed the dynamic for the Lakers defensively, because they were able to focus on Tyler Hero, who was the only offensive punch for the Miami Heat down the stretch. He was consistent from the third quarter and onward. But it was an ugly win, but a great win in the aspect of the Lakers battling it out, overcoming a 9-point deficit and being in a penalty in the fourth quarter, being shorthanded without BJ, other key pieces, things of that nature. And then despite a shit ton of turnovers, the Lakers came to play and they won. I can't be more proud of the fellas, man. I cannot be more proud of the fellas for battling it out, overcoming foul trouble and a 9-point deficit, and then, having key pieces miss. And then overall, just things not happening for them in a smoother transition. They battled out against a very good team who I believe the Miami Heat are like, I think they're 5th in the East or so. So shout out to the Lakers, man. You gotta be proud. It was an ugly game. It was an ugly win. in terms of in the beginning, turnovers offensively, they weren't good. They weren't sharp. But down the stretch, they battled out against a gritty, really good cultured team coached by a solid head coach in Spoelstra, who I think is underrated and one of the best coaches in the NBA, in my opinion. They did a good job. And this is the type of games that, you want to build the character, to build that camaraderie, that team chemistry by being a good team and overcoming adversity. That's what life is about, man. Overcoming adversity to become the best version of yourself. And this is why I'm happy about this win, because it's against a good team and they could have folded and they didn't. So let's wrap up this game recap with team stats and player stats. So Lakers held the Heat to 41% shooting to end this game. The Lakers defense really came through late in the fourth and in OT. Hero wasn't in as much of a groove offensively in the fourth quarter and in OT due to Westbrook and Bradley's physicality on the defensive end. They did a good job staying attached to Tyler Hero's hip, and they did a really good job on Duncan Robinson as well, man. So shout out to both of them, forcing them into contested shots, staying attached to their hips, off the ball, things of that nature, making Hero expend much more energy offensively to create, as opposed to allowing him to dribble in comfortably into his offensive groove. They were really into him, and that's how you have to play shooters and scorers, man. You can't allow them to get comfortable, and that's what Tyler Hero was. He was too comfortable in the first half of this game. But good job by Westbrook and Avery Bradley, man, on Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Lakers 18 for 38 from three, shot at a clip of 47% rather from three. Impressive shooting behind the arc, man, for the Lakers, and that was a facet led by Malik Monk and also Wayne Ellington, who shot pretty solidly from the field as well. But Lakers had 23 turnovers, man, but their defense is what kept them in this game and allowed them to win despite an ugly game for the Lakers offensively. Sure, we lost Caruso, KCP, Keith defensively. We heard all the noise on social media and, just overall, man, with BSPN. And I get it. It's a huge loss, Laker fan. But, Vogel has kept his teams, I believe, in the top 5 defensively, minus the Magic when he coached them. Most of his teams have been in the top 5. And with the personnel that the Lakers have, the physicality, the vet savviness, championship pedigree, guys who have been battle tested in the playoffs, I can't see as to why the Lakers defensively, at the very least, can be in the top 10. They have the personnel to do it, Laker fam. And tonight was a key example of that. 23 turnovers, most teams are not winning the game. Their defense is what kept them in this game and what allowed them to win this game behind Malik Monk, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, etc. So their defense could be in the top 10. I have no doubt in my mind that the Lakers will slip probably as far as being a top 10 defensive team in the NBA. So we'll see how it goes. The Lakers got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, but they defended the hell out of this game, especially in the clutch moments of this game. Props to the fellas fighting on defense, man, fighting over screens, staying attached to players like Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, and providing good energy. So, shout out to them. We got to see that fight, that grit and effort. That's all we ask for. I mean, it would be great to get every win, but shit, come in with effort and energy. That's all you need to do. Player stats, Malik Monk, game ball goes to him. As the leading scorer for this game, 27 points, 10 for 13 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 6 rebounds. He was huge tonight, Laker fam. Huge for the Lakers in the clutch moments of this game. Helping the Lakers gain momentum with huge buckets as they fed off the crowd. Shout out to Malik Monk, man. The fact that we got him for the vet minimum is a steal. And I'm hoping he starts at the 2 guard, if not Reeves. But the problem is Malik Monk, he lacks defense. So, it's best to probably have him off the bench, similar to Carmelo Anthony. But AD with 24 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. Loved how, he played bigger in the inside. He settled for perimeter contested jumpers. But you can't have, man, you just can't have Lowry, once again, a 6'3" guy, getting away with defending him most of this game, switching, because that's what happened. AD should have had 40 points this game. He should have dominated. He should not allow a 6'3" guy or shorter guys to defend him and push him way out where the elbows are at and take contested fadeaway jump shots, man. That's insane. Once again, the brother needs to get with Hakeem. He needs to get with Shaq. He needs to get with Mikal. He needs to get with Tim Duncan or something. Or shit, if you can't get with him, watch some clips. Because the brother is way too talented to be settling like that, man. And there's no way that he should be allowing teams to guard him with 6'3" or shorter players and he should have had 40 tonight. That's my perspective, man. But nevertheless, he had a good game, 24 points, 13 rebounds. I'm happy he crashed the boards. He should be having 10 plus rebounds a game, no question. Westbrook with 25 points, 14 assists, 12 rebounds, 8 turnovers. Despite his turnovers, Laker fam, I liked how Russ didn't, let things get to him. He's embracing the struggle, man. You have to do that in life in general. He's getting really beat up by people and Laker fans on social media, the media, but he has to continue to play and not let that shit get to him. He just has to play more controlled and not being on a one-track mind, playing at one speed. Keep battling, and eventually things are gonna happen for him. It's not gonna rain every day, man. It's not gonna rain. So, the fact that he was battling defensively, it catapulted him offensively. So, way to battle, Russ. Way to battle, man. Just keep it up. People gonna talk shit. There's a lot of point guards around the league. Ja Morant, people like that. I think they're I believe he's like averaging probably about 4 turnovers a game, but nobody's talking about it because he's not Russell Westbrook. So it is what it is. Russ is gonna get hate. He always has gotten hate. Let's keep it 100. But sure, does he play with low basketball IQ most of the time? Yes. But let's keep it 100. Let's keep it fair and talk about other point guards that are not playing up to par with taking care of the ball. It's going to take time. The Lakers have 9 to 12 new players, and he's one of them. And, it's going to take him time to adjust to a new role and to adjust to new teammates. Avery Bradley was solid to begin the game, kept the Lakers afloat when they struggled offensively. He finished the game with 17 points and 3 rebounds. And then Wayne Ellington and Carmelo Anthony with 12 points apiece off the bench. All right, Laker Nation. Lakers now 7-5 on the season and 7th place in the standings in the Western Conference. They got the T-Wolves next on Friday. That should be a winnable game for them, no question. If they do the shit that they need to do and should be doing, defend and play to their strengths. And they should be fighting against a young, inexperienced team in the Wolves. We'll see how it goes. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'm Tony on the Lake Show, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Laker fam.